This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's also talk about the next show that you're back on the road for, because you know the beat never stops here. Yeah, there's a big acquisition. Yeah, there's 3 shows run that day. But come May 7th, we're back on the road and we're doing a double shot. We got Raleigh, North Carolina for the Dorton Arena, and also Waldorf, easy for me to say, Maryland. The next day, Baltimore. Baltimore's always been a hot town for you guys. 10,000 wrestling fans here to see Jimmy Garvin and Ric Flair in the main event. Just underneath that, it's the Battle of the Koloffs. It's going to be Nikita and Ivan in a Russian chain match. And then Dick Murdoch and Dusty Rhodes in a Texas death match. 2 former best friends. Here they are hooking it up. The Road Warriors are taking on Rick Rude and Manny Fernandez. Lex Luger's in there with Ron Garvin. Vladimir Petrov is in with Baron. And you're working with Tim Horner. But I want to talk a little bit about the main event. Jimmy Garvin as a main eventer for Ric Flair. That's an interesting pairing here. Obviously, we both think a lot of Jimmy and their whole presentation. But it's a heel versus heel main event. What do you think of Jimmy versus Flair as a main event in this era?
At this particular time, it didn't make much sense.
Yeah.
There's no other way to put it. It was just a random booking, and I'm getting the feeling just by listening to the card. I mean, the guy that wrote down Pietrov versus Baron von Raschke couldn't have pictured the match in his head before he wrote it down.
Tony Schiavone here to tell you about the greatest value in the history of our great sport. AdFreeShows.com. Get every episode of What Happened When and all of Conrad's other podcasts early, ad-free, and on video for as low as $9 a month. That's the price of a Starbucks coffee for hundreds of hours of video and audio content each month. That's not all. AdFreeShows.com is home to exclusive bonus content, like interactive events where you get to ask me anything during our Ask Tony live events. And if you're a Top Guy member, we got to hang out for the entire weekend in Chicago at Top Guy Weekend recently. Did I mention there's also happy hour every other Sunday with my dear, good, close personal friend, Rebel? If you call yourself a wrestling fan and haven't signed up for ad-free shows yet, you a lie. Sign up today at adfreeshows.com.
Could he?
I couldn't imagine. No.
Because you're talking about a stinkeroo.
Yeah.
And I love Baron, and I had nothing against the other guy, except I knew how green he was, and that was not his fault. He was thrown out there way before his time in an era where if you had a steady job in this industry, it was because you had the greatest gimmick on earth, or you could work, and there was not gray area in between there very, very much, and you only had room for 1 or 2 gimmicks on it, you know, each crew. To book that match, I'm glad I don't remember it, because I couldn't have seen it. That's one I would have remembered for a lifetime, I'm sure.
I think right now we've got a clip from Saturday night, and this, of course, was a tradition for us at 6:05, and this is from May the 9th, 1987. We're going to hear from the Nature Boy. Here we go.
The man, the world heavyweight champion, Nature Boy Ric Flair. And so proud to be with the NWA. So proud to be with Jim Crockett Promotions. So proud to be one of the Four Horsemen. So proud to be the very best in the greatest sport in the world, Tony Schiavone. Woo! Each and every day of my life gets better because I get richer. I become more famous. I acquire more material goods. And every day as I ride the highway, as I fly the skies with the Four Horsemen, I know that each city we jump on, number 1, it's going to be a capacity crowd. Number 2, we're going to beat all our opponents. And number 3, there's going to be between 500 and 1,000 women outside every hotel just dying. Woo! To ride! Space Mountain. How about it? Woo! And speaking of Space Mountain, Precious, how long are you going to try and hide the ever-loving fact Did you want some of this? Did you want to be with Ric Flair? Now, Tony, the world knows I gave her a very expensive gift, $15,000 worth of mink. And the joke is on me right now because I promised the world Precious be standing right here next to the Nature Boy. But she's playing hard to get. She's playing hard to get. She don't want to be a one-night stand. She wants permanent residence. So I'll tell you how it goes, Precious. Since you couldn't have possibly been first, you're going to be next, baby. And you know how I'm going to make that happen? You don't want to give me the coat back, tell the world you're sorry, and ride the mountain. Then I'm going to take Jimmy Garvin apart. I don't care where it is. And Precious, I'm going to take you and that coat, woo, and head for the high country. Now Daytona, Florida, Orlando, Florida, Greensboro, Chicago, Richmond, Norfolk, Fort Lauderdale, woo, Atlanta, GA. Tony, come here. This is right here what it's all about. It's Tony Blanchard. It's Arn Anderson. It's Lex Luger. And it's J.J. Dillon. It is the wrestling family of the world. We are the Horsemen. Come on, girl.
We can cut it there. My goodness, how much fun was Ric Flair having being Ric Flair and the leader of the Four Horsemen there?
Oh, that's what he did. Let me ask you something. When this airs, and they have these clips of these audience members, don't you think they get a huge pop?
Of course.
Out of seeing themselves on there going, wait a minute,
Look,
that's
me.
so-and-so, or that's my aunt, or that's my grandmother, or
Yeah.
that's my sister. How cool would that be to be seeing this when you're sitting home watching the show?
The coolest thing ever, man. And
God almighty.
if I had to bet, I would bet that you Horsemen managed to get a W over on Mr. Howell Moore and Larry Stevens and Rocky King. You want to bet $1?
We'd been pretty hard to handle after a promo like that, I would think.
I think so.
You know, it was, but it was one of those days where you're having fun, and it just occurred to me, now I have the answer to how you could book Jimmy Garvin against Ric Flair. It was all about Precious.
Yeah.
Wasn't heel, wasn't babyface, it wasn't any of that. It was, hey, the guy's hitting on the man's wife. What's he supposed to do?
You're exactly right. And boy, Flair did a lot of that in those promos back then. And I'm sure there was more carrying on. Todd Champion, though, we're starting to see that name pop up more and more here. Boy, he had a longer run than I remember. I mean, it feels like he was more of a WCW guy, but here he was here in Jim Crockett Promotions in 1986.
Well, I'm sure. And he was there to, do business. He wasn't featured. He wasn't part of the crew. He was just a guy that came in to do television. And David Osley, great. Tommy Angel, two great hands, two good guys. I've kind of kept up with David Osley over the years, and Tommy Angel was always a very talented guy. And I don't remember, this must have been the time that Chris Champion, we're talking about Todd Champion? Excuse me.
Yeah, Todd Champion. Yeah, I know that he's working primarily enhancement, and I think he's going to have a little run in Japan. But when he comes back in 91, it feels like, he's getting a bit of a push in WCW. But that's not what we're seeing here.
Yeah, I mean, we all have beginnings.
Yes.
And every one of us pretty much started out the same way. I started out the same way, Todd did. I was a tackling dummy on TV. Thank God it didn't last long. And like I said, he was such a big, impressive guy. He was a whopper. He would get your attention. And when he came back later on, it would be a little bit of a different spot.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money, it's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.